Will still be Ray manual.
Okay.
Just because out of the sheer like connection to it.
Correct.
That is slower than auto. So I would build an auto with the way that the 8HP kind of line.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're out here in Michigan on Roadkill night. This is the first time I've ever been here in Michigan for this, so I don't really know what's going on. My hair's all over the place. It's been a long time trying to come out here, but there's so many beautiful cars. We're gonna do a quick lap around, and then the real reason I came here is because I love drag racing, and they actually closed down the road to do drag racing. There should be some of my fellow YouTubers that I watch, one being, I believe, Evan Shank, so we're gonna go hunt him down and see if I can actually find him. But I wanted to show you guys some of the beautiful cars they have out here because they have some beautiful Viper ACRs. I'm not a big Charger, Challenger, or those kind of cars, but when it comes to Dodge, the one that I absolutely love, we'll turn the camera on and you guys will see firsthand some of the beautiful things they have out here. So out here at Roadkill night, look at this beautiful blue ACR. And then you have a yellow right next to it that just literally pops and looks incredible. But I think my favorite on the lot is going to be this white one. This white with the black and red, oh my god, it has that aggressiveness. And something that I personally always love in cars in general, and something that, which is why Clifford's the way he is I love the aero spec. This has a super mean front end lip, and then if you guys zoom in and look closer, you can see the freaking canards that this has. And oh my god, just the stands of it, of how low. And then in the rear, you have this massive wing. And they did an amazing job when painting this because you have the red right here with it. The black and white is great. Then out here in the back, you have this. They just turned on the car. Let's check it out, this Cooper. Golly, talk about some classic Dodges. Just looks beautiful. But again, back to the ACR, some of the coolest cars. And this one, I think actually it's a little bit more special in my opinion because it looks like they do have exposed carbon. It's so hard to see because of the lighting, but the exposed carbon. Let me get you on the other side so that way you can potentially see it a little bit better. And look at that exposed carbon look. Oh my god. Something that I just found out that they do free drift runs out here on the new. Let's do it to them. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of this, but look at this. Let's turn you around. They're just out here screeching tires. Golly. And honestly, so one of the big things that happened here on the Dodge show is that they unveiled yesterday the brand new 2027 Super B. Which I'll be completely honest, my personal opinion, this is not a muscle car. And you might be wondering why may I say that. So in my personal opinion, this should have came with a V8. It did not. Do it again. Do it again. Again, back to what I was saying, because we got distracted from the burnout that they were doing. They unveiled the 2027 Super B. Let me know in the comment section below. Is this a true muscle car? The reason I say that because it reminds me more of a Japanese car. And what I mean by that is this is no longer having any kind of V8. There's no Hemi technology, as far as I'm aware. I'm not a big Dodge person, so I'm not 100% sure. But what I do know is this Super B is now inline six, and the only difference between its previous model, so the lower spec one, is going to be that it is smaller turbo. So let me know in the comment section below. I think visually it looks pretty decent, but from where Dodge was to where they're at, I think they were really getting to become one of the best Mopar, or one of the best muscle cars in the US just due to the Hellcat, the Demon, all the stuff that people were doing, because they have a ton of cars out here. But my personal opinion, you needed to have it with a V8 because again, muscle cars or pony cars, whatever you want to call them, are meant to have V8. That's what really sticks out for them. And now these are kind of going extinct, and Dodge is now coming into this. And that's why personally, I'm still happy that I'm a Mustang fan, because as you know, Ford is still pushing that Coyote V8 versus all these other brands like Camaro and Dodge, or Chevy I should say. They're doing different things with their CA, which it's a whole different demographic. They're not the same as the Camaro, which is scheduled to come back in 27 I mean. But we'll see about that. But so far, Dodge, I think you're kind of missing the mark. I think it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but that shouldn't have done an inline six. They had to do my personal opinion, a V8 Hemi, just like they used to. So when we turn you around, we'll show the back end. Like on this side, it doesn't even show quad tips or anything. So again, I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Heck yeah, we got Rob Dahm here in the building.
When you go put a super order? Over 800. So I hit the stock fuel limit. All wheel. Yeah. So my goal was stock axles, stock diff, stock drive shaft, stock fuel system. And so at the end of that run, my fuel system was almost no pressure. So that's as much as the stock car can make. So I'm proud of that. And I held up with the guy that's got fully, custom Motec set up and everything like that. Right. First one I won. Second one I was with him, and I was like, "No shit." The car is all stock block, stock transmission, stock everything. I have AC, airbags. Damn. Yeah, I have an AC with big turbo. Yeah, it's weird. I just analyzed, and I'm like, stock block. Yeah, stock block. Yeah, stock block. Obviously, on turbo, what you make it. The most thing's about 800 kilos. Yeah. You should probably be watching. But I'll show you the ones
waiting for our competitors to get back on track.
Oh my God, guys, we got opportunity. I haven't said anything to him yet, but we got an opportunity to speak to Rob Dahm, who does amazing things. So it's just cool to have him here. I'm a little fangirling over here, but he has a big old bottle back.
We are here with Brian Kiefer of Keys Motorsports. So you do have a shop back home. Correct. How was this project compared to something?
Oh, okay. I was just about to ask you that. How long you had it for?
Yeah, 35 days.
So just a little over a month.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
So we designed the exhaust manifold, got that going, and somebody like HP Tuner said, "Hey, we've got a crack for it." I'm like, "Perfect." So I didn't think about the car at all, and then realized they don't have a crack for it.
Gotcha.
And so then I waited, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to do this stuff myself." So I started just downloading, letting all the CAN data, and I was like, "This doesn't make sense."
I'm making parts that'll fit
I guess it's amazing to me that you've been able to do
showroom
that.
floor version of one of these cars.
I mean, I know you have a lot of hot tech.
Yeah. Horsepower. You can come out here and actually be
it's partially just out of sheer there's got to be a way to do it.
But to that point, and to something that I brought up a few minutes ago, strategy on
database
tune-up in this final round and our two big classes, big and small tire.
I do have one question though. Why did you keep the all the interior? Because you could have lost another two.
I want to take. I don't get to keep the car.
Okay.
In 2 years, I have to give the chassis back, but I get to keep the interior.
Okay.
So I want to take the interior and put it in another car.
Gotcha.
Have adaptive cruise control, AC.
Okay.
So I wanted it all to work together.
Because I know some of the other people who were the one who didn't come. I think it was Evan Shanks.
Yeah.
Also been watching him in your build, and one of the big things that he did is just strip the whole thing.
I'm the only competitor that left the interior.
Gotcha. Because I know some of the other people.
Because what I want to do is if you bought this car, you're not gonna gut it.
Exactly.
So I wanted what would be a daily driver? So I have a full exhaust.
Okay.
All the way up the back and the sides.
Okay.
And it's got a catalytic converter and everything.
Okay.
So I wanted all of it.
So what made you go with that specific turbo versus anything else? Because I mean, obviously your biggest build and what you're known for most is your four rotor.
Yes.
So why this on this specific engine?
So a 74 millimeter turbo about 1100, and that's actually the limit of the block.
Gotcha.
So the engineer said the block's rated for about 1100 like pressure. Obviously, you can mess it up in different ways. But I was like, okay, well then let me size a turbo, the smallest turbo that can do 1100.
Gotcha. Because what I find funny is you say it looks bad if you blow it up. I'm on the side of you reach the limit. You know, you show what it could actually do.
Right.
Obviously, no one wants to see it blow.
Event, so perfect example, this event is not a sticky drag strip.
Right.
So you don't have to go that hard.
Correct.
So I wanted to focus on that launch. All-wheel drive, it had to stay all-wheel drive. Which I love.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, let me see if I can get the OEM system to just go as hard as it can. And then the next phase of this is actual drag strip, and that's where I don't give a shit if I blow it up. Like if it's just not, if I blow it up in the most embarrassing way, that sucks. But like if you blow it up at an insane power, the car's pulling a wheelie, that's
okay.
Sick.
Yeah.
So this, I need to prove that what my theory was that you could keep it pretty stock aside from the obvious.
Right.
Like I said, so the stock fuel system. I'm still using all the stock fuel systems, stock ignition, but I just kind of cut into it.
Gotcha.
And so I found the limits of all that.
The last question I had was, how hard was it to work with the ECU? Because as you know, and everyone else has been saying, it's very complex since it's such a new car and just everything, trying to get everything, you know.
This is what it took for me to work on the stock ECU. So there's the stock ECU, and I literally cut all of the communication from the ECU to the rest of the car, from the ECU to there's multiple things. And I cut in there and I put these boxes I got. And Joel, can you give me a water? Like 2 waters, whatever?
Congratulations. Tell us a little
and so these boxes take all that data, open them up, make adjustments, re-encrypt it, and then send it on. So I was able to kind of crack that.
Gotcha.
So the engine is expecting.
Jesus,
that's loud. The engine's expecting and talking to the transmission about torque. I'm modifying that.
Gotcha. Well, I have to say, it's been awesome to meet you, dude. Right now, it's just I've seen so many of your videos just to see you and everything you guys do. It's insane.
Means a lot, man. Yeah, I appreciate the type of question you're asking. That's like me.
Yeah, just because to be honest, I'm not a Dodge person. I'm a Mustang person. I build one. I just bought a 2026, and I'm trying to do similar things. Like I'm trying to be a drag racer. Yeah. Yep. So it's I'm here for work, and I just heard you guys were out here, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to go.
Here you go.
I have to go. So.
What did you bring?
I brought a 1968 Plymouth GTX.
What is the biggest thing that you've overcome doing this build outside of the 35 days that you've had it for?
I've never worked in an automatic transmission.
Really? Okay.
And so I wanted
Hello.
to.
Rick Avery, Clarkston,
So I wanted.
62 Ram.
I could have. When I first got it, they said, "Hey, you can do anything as long as all-wheel drive." I was going to take my all-wheel drive system out of the 4-rotor and just make it manual.
Oh yeah.
Right? But I was like, that's kind of going backwards for me. I want to learn something new, and I've never worked on a train auto.
Right.
Let me learn how to manipulate that, and then get good at it.
Yeah.
And I'll learn something that helps me make a better car.
But is that a plan you're ever going to do in the future?
Yeah.
To change the transmission to like your 4-rotor one or anything like that?
So the 4-rotor will still be rain manual.
Okay.
Just because out of the sheer connection to it.
Correct.
That is slower than auto. So I would build an auto with the way that the 8 HP kind of line taught me. Because it's a lot of tuning.
Right.
And I love tuning.
Okay.
So I want, especially when I saw that you can put a clutch on it, and treat it like a manual. I was like, that's what I like.
Right. Because I know you love tinkering, because one of the videos that I love the most that you helped with is when you made, what was it, the 16 rotor for the boat?
12,
or the 12, it was so insane because you used a lot of the info that you learned from your 4-rotor and just a lot of the engineering.
Yeah.
And it's such a different realm because if I remember correctly, it was for a boat,
Yes.
but a lot of that learning of how do you make this work and everything. And I love the way you explain everything in your videos because it's very informative for someone who's growing up just learning cars. And it's just amazing to learn from other people's experiences because obviously you started from little by little just learning and figuring out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see someone like you jump into a new platform and actually have a little. 35 days is not a lot. That's not a lot at all.
Yeah, I spent quite a few days watching the CAN bus and going, what is this? I don't know what they're saying, and my goal was to learn it.
Gotcha.
Brian Kiefer and
I'm gonna go. I'll be right back.
Okay.
We see.
Wait. So, last question. Do you guys have like a booth, or is it like do you guys?
This is just me right
Okay,
here.
gotcha.
It's
Gotcha.
just an air-conditioned car.
I guess you could say on the planet. They put on quite a performance the other day.
There you guys have it,
I don't know what
guys.
just transpired there down in our starting area. I saw. Mike
So there you guys
Lesko down
have it,
there.
guys. That
Maybe
was
Mike can
Rob
let me
Dahm.
know
I'm gonna be
what
honest. That
Rob
was such
down there as well,
such an
but
amazing
there's a chance
opportunity to speak to him. There's a bunch of other YouTubers out here. One of the other people that were supposed to be here is Evan Shanks. Wasn't ever really expecting to meet someone like that. So kind of just shooting off questions, just trying to get to him to see. And this is his car that he ran. He mentioned, obviously, as you heard. Yeah, it's just an amazing opportunity for him. One of the biggest things that he mentioned is that Evan Shanks is overcoming is the ECU. He did a lot of wiring, as you can see.